Here's something nobody mentions when the paycheck goes up. The raise does not fix it. The better job does not fix it. Two people can sit in the same office, earn the same salary, and 5 years later, one of them has $40,000 invested, and the other cannot cover a car repair without panic. Same income. Completely different financial realities. And if you ask the struggling one what happened, they will say they just need to earn more. But that is not what the numbers show. What the numbers show is that most people are not struggling because they earn too little. They are struggling because 10 silent habits are draining everything they make before a single dollar ever gets the chance to build anything. The dangerous part is that these habits feel completely normal. They feel like just the way adult life works. Nobody ever flagged them as a problem. So today we name them, break them down, and give you a concrete way to stop each one, because financial stability has never been about earning more. It has always been about stopping the leaks. If this is the kind of content that makes your money finally make sense, subscribe right now. New videos every week on the psychology and mechanics of building real wealth. Let's go. Habit 1. Paying yourself last. Almost everyone does this without realizing it. Paycheck hits, rent goes out, utilities, groceries, gas, the subscription that auto-renewed, dinner twice because the week was long. Whatever is left at the end of the month, if anything, that is what gets saved. That is paying yourself last. And after life collects everything it is owed, there's almost never anything remaining. The fix is not about motivation. It is mechanical. Automate a transfer to a separate savings account the same day your paycheck arrives. Not at the end of the month. The same day. Even $30. You are training your cash flow to move before lifestyle gets its hands on it. People who always seem to have money do not have more willpower. They have better timing. Habit 2. Treating subscriptions like they are not real money. Pull your actual bank statement and count every active subscription. Not from memory from the statement. Most people guess 5 or 6. The real number is almost always between 12 and 19. Streaming, cloud storage, a gym visited once in the last 3 months, a meal kit service technically on pause, an app from a free trial 2 years ago, still quietly billing you monthly. None of them feel expensive alone. But bundled together, the average household now spends over $350 a month on subscriptions, nearly $4,000 a year, and a significant portion goes to services they barely use. The habit is not subscribing. The habit is never auditing. Set a reminder every 90 days, 30 minutes, one bank statement. Cancel anything you cannot remember using in the past 30 days. Habit 3. Letting every raise become a lifestyle upgrade. Something happens in your brain the moment a raise clears. Before the rational part can object, you feel like you earned an upgrade. Nicer apartment, better car, restaurants on weeknights instead of just weekends. Each upgrade seems completely reasonable. But what is actually happening is that every new expense is converting a temporary income increase into a permanent monthly obligation, and your savings rate ends up exactly where it was before the raise. This is lifestyle creep, and it is the most efficient wealth destroyer among people with growing incomes. The rule that stops it is simple. Every time your income increases, raise your savings rate by at least half that percentage before you change your spending. Income up 6%. Savings rate goes up at least 3% first. Spend the rest freely, but protect the gain before lifestyle claims it permanently. Habit 4. Carrying debt on things that are already gone. A dinner that cost $80 in February should not still be costing you money in September. But when you carry a balance on a credit card, that is exactly what is happening. The meal is gone. The concert is over. The weekend trip is a memory. The interest is still running. This is one of the most psychologically damaging financial habits because the debt has no asset underneath it. You cannot sell the experience. The money is gone and the bill stayed. Credit card debt at 20% or higher is mathematically one of the most expensive things you can do with money. Paying it off is a guaranteed return at that exact rate, better than most investments in any given year. Clear it before you do almost anything else with extra dollars. Habit 5. Buying on price instead of total cost. A $40 pair of boots that falls apart in 4 months costs you $120 a year. A $120 pair worn for 4 years costs $30 a year. Most people buy the cheap ones 3 times because it feels like the responsible choice. This is the cheap is expensive trap, and it quietly drains people who genuinely think they are being careful. The mental model that fixes it is cost per use. Before any significant purchase, divide the price by how many times you will realistically use it. A $250 winter coat worn daily for 5 seasons costs under 15 cents per wear. A $60 coat that falls apart in year 1 costs you far more than the tax suggested. Stop asking whether something is expensive. Start asking what it costs per use. Habit 6. Zero friction on spending. Convenience is the enemy of a savings rate. When spending requires no effort, one tap, saved card everywhere, one-click checkout, there is no pause between the impulse and the transaction. No pause means no decision. And no decision means your emotions are running your money instead of your judgment. People who consistently build wealth do not have more willpower. They have more friction built into their spending. Delete saved payment information from sites you impulse buy from. Keep your savings at a separate bank so transfers take a couple of days. Put a waiting period on any non-essential purchase above a threshold you choose. $50, $100, whatever fits your income. 72 hours is enough for most impulses to dissolve. You are not restricting yourself. You are giving your rational brain a vote before the money leaves. Habit 7. No financial buffer. When there is no buffer, everything becomes a crisis. An $800 car repair goes on the credit card, compounds with interest, and costs you more money for months after the car is fixed. A surprise medical bill pulls from rent. Every small emergency becomes a setback that takes 3 months to recover from, and during that recovery, you cannot save. So the next emergency arrives before the last one is handled. This is the cycle that keeps people perpetually behind on an otherwise steady income. The minimum viable buffer is $1,000 in a dedicated account you do not touch for anything other than a genuine emergency. Not a sale, not a flight deal, an actual emergency. Once that exists, build toward 3 months of essential expenses. The buffer does not earn you wealth on its own, but without it, you cannot keep the wealth you make. It is the floor everything else stands on. Habit 8. Measuring yourself against visible wealth. What you see of other people's finances is always the most expensive version of it. The car in the driveway, the renovation, the vacation photos. What you do not see is the payment plan, the family help, the loan running quietly behind a curated image. Comparing your inner financial reality to someone else's outer financial performance is one of the most reliable ways to make decisions that hurt you. Research consistently shows that social comparison is one of the strongest predictors of poor financial outcomes. Define what enough looks like for your specific life, not your neighborhood, not your peer group. What does stability actually mean for you? Build toward that number. Stop chasing a target set by what other people appear to have. Habit 9. Waiting for the right moment to invest. Waiting until you have more money. Waiting until the market calms. Waiting until you understand it better. Waiting feels responsible. But waiting is not neutral. It is one of the most expensive financial decisions most people ever make, and they do not realize it until the math shows them. Someone who invests $200 a month, starting at 25, at 7% average annual return, ends up with roughly $525,000 by 65. Someone who waits until 35, same amount, same return, lands near $240,000. Same discipline, same rate. A 10-year delay costs nearly $300,000. Start with whatever you have right now. Adjust as you learn, but start. Habit 10. Never deciding what the money is actually for. This is the one most people skip, and it is the reason every other rule eventually falls apart. If you have no clear answer to the question, what is this money building toward? Then every financial discipline becomes optional. There is no anchor. Nothing compelling enough to choose the boring, unglamorous decision over the one that feels good right now. Financial optionality is the real goal. The ability to say no to a job that is grinding you down. The ability to absorb a crisis without it unraveling your life. The ability to leave a situation, fund something that matters, or simply wake up without that quiet anxiety about whether you're going to be okay. That is what the money is for. Not a number. Not appearances. Freedom of choice. Write down one thing you're building financial margin to protect or pursue. One thing. Put it somewhere visible. Let that answer make the small decisions easier than they have ever been before. 10 habits. None dramatic. All of them running silently behind the finances of people who cannot figure out why stability always feels just out of reach. You do not need to fix all 10 this week. Fix 1. Make the stable choice slightly easier than the draining one, and let that small edge compound into a financial life that actually belongs to you. If this helped you see even one thing differently, subscribe. That is what this channel is here for.